For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of top fuel funny car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio back on the air as we get ready for the NHRA playoffs. That's right, the countdown, 6 races to glory. Starting off with Reading, Pennsylvania, the Reading Nationals presented by Nitro Fish. This weekend, I am super excited. This is it. Everybody has a near equal chance, but do they have what it takes to become a champion? We just don't know. We're going to have to find out. But on this show, we're going to kick it back to the Cornwell Tools U.S. Nationals and connect with a couple of race winners. We got 3 of them: Austin Prock, Gaige Herrera, Justin Ashley, each with their own story. 2 of the 3 are regular season champions. And we're going to dive into all of it. We're going to get your comments. We're going to hear what you have to think about who's going to be world champion just 6 races from now at the In-N-Out Burger Finals at Pomona. NHRA coming off record television ratings on Fox on Monday, Labor Day. It was amazing. All kinds of good stuff going on in the sport. Yeah, we got some naysayers we're going to knock down too, but it's all happening on this show. I'll tell you about the people who make it possible, our great sponsors, all of that stuff coming up in a little bit. But let's start off with the regular season champion in Nitro Funny Car. This guy won, I don't know, I think it was like $330,000 in one day. That is huge. Austin, did you count it all up yet?
Yeah, definitely. We were counting it as we went, and yeah, it was really cool to win that in 2 days. That's almost like winning the world championship. A little over $100,000 short, but to get that done with my family, this Cornwell Tools team at the Cornwell Tools U.S. Nationals was really cool.
And it's gone, right? Like that's it. These cars are expensive. You went testing. Did you go testing on Tuesday? Did you get to test?
Yeah, we got to run. We made, I think, 3 or 4 laps. It went well. Definitely was an early morning after, celebrating what we did that weekend. The crew guys, man, they bust their tails. You got to celebrate something like that. But we had to rein it back a little bit because we knew we had to be out there early. But test session went well, and we'll see what we got in ready.
This is the last time I saw you right here. This is the photograph, the bling, the belt, the medallions, the Wally, the presence of mind to gather all of that stuff up and bring it into the media center. I appreciated that. Like, I thought it was important that you do that. You have that look. You are, someone called you Floyd Mayweather. You look like Mr. T. I don't know, depending on the reference of your age, but can you put into words the weekend? Like, you won it all.
Well, yeah, it was cool. We came up short in the Mission Too Fast, Too Tasty deal. Obviously we wanted to sweep the weekend, and, I made a mistake. I rarely do, knock on some wood. That was the second time I've double stepped or red lit like that since I started racing or driving these cars in 2018. So it definitely stung, but got my stuff together the next morning. We had to go out there and race for $85,000 and, left off right where, I had been prior to that. So I was proud of that. It takes a lot inside me, to go up there and, execute. And, you don't want to push too hard, but you don't want to be late. It's always in the back of your head. So to go up there and just execute and then have the race car that I did under me was amazing. To get that win. Those specialty races mean so much to a driver or the crew members, the team, because there's only one of them a year. So to get that done and, walk into my house now and see that trophy is pretty cool. And then to come out the next day and win the biggest race of the year, the U.S. Nationals, was epic. This race car, it was flying Sunday and Monday, all weekend really. But to turn on those final round win lights back-to-back days was cool, especially to have so many partners and dealers from Cornwell Tools there. They were promoting the race, and to have them all in the winner circle, that was really special. That definitely puts a little bit of a pep in your step, and to see how happy the dealers were and everybody at Cornwell Tools, that was really special for all of us.
No, I'm super excited about it. 800 sets of screwdrivers from Cornwell Tools were given out to the Lucas Oil Series competitors. It's something that I put on my own personal page, and I don't know, am I taking a beating about it? I'm not. I'm getting some pushback, whatever. But I just did the math. They're $180 per set times 800 sets. Like, that's a huge commitment by the folks at Cornwell. And I know they've been around since the early 1900s. But the way they have gotten involved with you and your team, and of course, the Cornwell Tools U.S. Nationals now for 3 years, I just think it's important to appreciate that commitment. I'm not even saying say thank you. People said thank you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, wow, man, that's a big commitment these guys have made. Just let's acknowledge the significance of that. Austin Prock, previously temporarily sponsored, full-time driver, 3 years, and also the U.S. Nationals, thanks to Cornwell Tools stepping up and getting involved in a sport that is already a tool truck war with everybody else in the business out there. Snap-on and Mac and Matco, everybody's in this thing. It's just, I don't want to say it's shocking. It's just impressive.
Yeah, what they're doing with NHRA drag racing is unbelievable right now. I mean, let alone a 3-year contract with one team. Those deals don't come like that very often nowadays. So for them to invest in our team, invest in my family, is really special. And then, it shows how much they're interested in this sport right now, adding on the U.S. Nationals for 3 years. So we're definitely proud to, banner their logo and try and push their tools as much as we can. Winning definitely helps. That when fans or people see us using Cornwell Tools and then that win light turn on and, these guys double gunning these cylinder heads off with their impacts, it just makes sense for them to be around this deal. So, we're definitely blessed. We're lucky, and hopefully we can continue to do them proud. I love working with them. They're, a class act. Every one of them, they're not a partner, they're family. When I see, Don Russell at the track or Bob Studnick, or outside of the racetrack, it's like seeing your cousin that you haven't seen in a couple weeks or months. You're just excited to see each other. And, I think that's one of the reasons this deal is so successful. It's successful off the racetrack and on.
And thanks to all the John Force Racing fans for sharing the show as Austin continues his ascent in the world of drag racing. All right, let's go back to the mistake, though, because I want to ask you your opinion deal. You and JR are on the starting line. I'm on the mic. Galvin's on the starting line, and we're trying to hype this deal. We had a little downtime. Hopefully you're still there. We just had a big power flicker here. Do you read me there, Austin?
Yeah, we're all good. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm in a South Florida lightning storm right now. So anything's possible, guys. This could be the last minute you see me. It could come right through the ceiling. So if that happens, just I appreciated working with all of you. Thank you very much. But you and JR are on the starting line. Bill Bader, we did a meeting with the announcers at the start of the season, and Bader's like, you got to build it up, man. You got to build it up like it's the biggest thing in the world. And so we took that opportunity, because we had some downtime before the run, to poll the fans. Who wants JR? Who wants Austin? They're screaming their heads off. Not enough. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. And Jason Logan from Life's a Drag was like, dude, I think we maybe overcooked that one. And maybe we did. You're stuck in the car, forced to listen to all of that. What's your take?
No, I enjoy that. I think that's cool. Now that you say that, I do remember that hearing the crowd cheer. I think we might have had a few more cheers than our opponent, which was cool. But, I've been pushing myself. You saw what I did in Brainerd this year. Just trying to press and chop the tree down. And I came into Indy with that same mentality. And when you're pressing like that, you're more prone to make a mistake, So I was glad it happened on Saturday. it would have stung a lot more happening on Sunday or Monday. But you got to find that edge as a professional race car driver. I want to be the best out here. And, it takes learning from your mistakes like that to become the best, in my opinion. So, just pressing and made a mistake. So I'm going to learn from it. And, obviously you saw the next 2 days. I was pretty close to right back to where I have been. So, I had a conversation before the U.S. Nationals with Danny Hood. He's a great friend of mine. And, I told him kind of what I found in myself and what I was doing wrong prior to Brainerd, and, how I executed the way I did. And I made the comment to him. I said, when you're in that zone and you're pressing like that, it can happen, so I just got to find, I'm just figuring out the balance of, how to press like that, but how to also be cool in the race car and still be able to attack. So, it's all good. I made a mistake last year and then come back and was, lights out again. So hopefully, that trend will continue and we'll go get another world championship.
I think that it's important to see a person, in this case, you, the driver, in all situations, right? Like, domination is only fun if you see like the arc, right? And so having you make a mistake, it makes it real. Like, oh man, okay, this guy's a human being in there doing it. Our listeners out there, Keith says, you're the next John Force. Like, that's got to make you feel unusual to hear stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely cool to hear. Nobody's going to be John Force. John Force he's a one and only, he's not even one in a million. He's a one and only. But I've studied John Force my whole life. He's always been my hero. I've always been a big fan of him, and I've always respected how he just ran the entire show, from working with the sponsorships to, running the crowd, taking care of the fans, turning on win lights, just being John Force. So I've taken a lot of notes over my life, and I've heard that comment before, or you sound just like John Force in your interviews. You're speaking 100,000 miles an hour all the time. And I like that, John, he's the greatest. So, for people to think that, I'm similar to him, that's really cool.
John is the greatest. And he was on WFO right before the U.S. Nationals, guys. If you didn't hear the audio podcast, we got that cleared up. Go back and check out John's interview. Because, Austin, I was very impressed at his, John's back. It's really great. He's still got more to go, but John is back, and he's like, I'm content to watch these guys do it. They don't need help from me. I like to stand in the back and play the back and watch them do their thing and celebrate. And you guys were able to celebrate big time because it was an all John Force Racing final round. You're 71 on the tree, a 90 on the track. Beckman didn't get down, but a tough day at the races. You had to go through Blake, who was very resurgent, his first race back. You had to go through Tasca, who dropped a bomb on everyone first round, would lower the round. That was wild from the 10 spot. And you got through Julie, a driver who you helped coach up, as I understand it, in her arc from switching from long cars to funny cars. That's no easy day at all.
No, not at all. None of these days are easy anymore. There's so many competitive cars out there, and so many cars that just go up and down the racetrack. You make one falter, it's hard to, it's hard to outrun them, having to pedal the race car anymore. So, we earned it. I was obviously happy to turn on 4 win lights, but yeah, it was some big rounds. Tasca's car's really coming around, and I was so happy to see Blake Alexander in the semifinals. That was he got a whole shot win, his first race back, which definitely puts a pep in his step, makes him feel good. I like a lot of those guys over there. So that was cool. And then to race my teammate in the final, we couldn't have wrote it up any better. That's exactly how we wanted to execute it, and we made it happen for John Force. So to race my teammate in the final round, that's what we want to do every weekend, and hopefully we can do that again in Reading.
Over 1 million people watching on television, record ratings, record for non-adjacent NFL game, which I don't know if everybody fully understands, but now that we're with Fox a couple of times a year, this year in Dallas will be either before or after the NFL, which gives us a massive lead in, right? And it's our goal to keep those people watching. But this was not that case. This was just Labor Day weekend, a holiday, and we had over 1 million, which is big. And you won the race. Like, they got to see you, someone that we hope carries the sport for the next, decade or so into this next television contract. Those are big numbers. That is meaningful. How much do you think about stuff like that? Like the responsibility of, man, my dad made his career in this, and my brother and I are trying to make our career in this, and we got to carry this thing as best as we can. We got to help carry it as best as we can.
Yeah. To see those numbers, that was awesome to see. I know how impressive this sport is, and we just need to exploit that more. And, getting numbers like that on TV, that definitely helps, and hopefully that'll help drag people into the racetrack, because it's cool on TV, but there's nothing like it in person. You got to get out there and see it. And once you see it in person, then it's really cool on TV, because you understand what's going on and what these cars are capable of. So I was really proud to see that. And, on trying to carry the sport in the right direction, not only are we professional race car drivers, we're entertainers. We have to be entertaining. We have to be entertaining in the race cars. We have to be entertaining out of the race cars. We have to be entertaining when we're one-on-one with the fans. All of that plays into growing this sport. And I take it very seriously. I show my raw emotions on television. And when I'm excited, I'm really excited. And I say what's on my mind. And when I'm upset, I'm really upset. And I say what's on my mind. And that seems to get people's attention. Just being yourself and trying to be an entertainer. I don't want to be an actor. I want to be myself, but hopefully I can catch people's attention with being myself. So, I hope that we continue to run this sport in the right direction, because like I said, I know how impressive it is. I know how special it is to so many people, and I want to see it go on for a really long time.
Me too. This guy, Steven, says, thank you for letting his friend touch the Wally in the winner's circle. He said it was the highlight of the race. There's a perfect example.
Yeah.
But if you touch the Wally that's not yours, you're never going to win one, right? Isn't there something to that?
I've never heard that, but
okay.
Any time I win, I always make sure I take as much time as I possibly can without getting rushed to media to sit, get with the fans, let them touch the Wally, let them hold the Wally, let their kids take photos with it. It means I can see it in their expression. I can see it in their eyes, how much it means to them, because not very many people get to touch a Wally or hold a Wally. There's only a select few that have, not select few, but a small group that's really won these things. And because we're the only sport that hands them out. So to let a fan, whether they're a new fan or they've been coming out there for 50 years, to let them, feel that and it's really cool to them. And I love doing that. It makes me happy seeing how excited they are.
Well, it is. It's an experience to come down onto the starting line after it's all over. The problem is most people have been there for 8 or 9 hours baking, and the ones that do come down are the most diehard of all of our fans, and I appreciate it. All right, let's talk Reading real quick, because none of that stuff that we just talked about matters anymore. You have got a point lead of 20 points over the next group, and you've got to do it again. You got to do it again. You've been through the trial of trying to win a championship. You've won a championship. There's potential for special things out there, but it all starts with getting qualified for Reading. And just lay out how you think this needs to go. Like what's going to be important? Can you just continue this domination, or what do you see lying ahead in this countdown?
Well, we just need to go out there and, our point lead got cut by, 260 some points. I think we probably had 280 points after Indy. So definitely stings, but it was the same scenario as last year. It is what it is. And you can't get caught up in it because, like you said, it does not matter. All that matters is that we're going into Reading. We're number one in the standings. We won the regular season championship, and we have a lot of great momentum. And I don't see this team slowing down. Everybody thought after last year, we were going to be on our crutches, just because of how impressive that last season was. And we're right back there again. So we just got to go out there and execute and do what we've done for the last year and a half and see how our cards fall. When we're on, we're really tough to beat. And I know a lot of these other cars are getting close to being really on. So it's definitely going to be more difficult, I feel like, in these next 6 races. But we're up for the challenge. I'm ready to go. I'm hungry. And I want to go out there and win as many of these races as we can. There's nothing saying that we can't win the rest of them. We're 3 in a row right now, and we just got to keep doing what we do. And or what we've been doing, and just see how it shakes out. So I'm excited for it. It's going to be entertaining for the fans. And like I said, we're entertainers.
It's going to be wild. And I'm excited for the fans. And one thing that I always hope happens is that drag racing fans get excited for their teams and their drivers the way football fans were excited for their teams this past weekend or otherwise. Like, live and die with them, cheer and be sad when first round loss happens to happen. Like, oh man, we'll get them next week. This is that time of year now. It's playoff time. It's playoff season. It's much bigger than it was a month ago. And I hope we all feel that in the same moment. I'm excited for you. Good luck. Thank you for coming on the show.
Cool. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me, and looking forward to Reading. I'm chomping at the bit.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. Well, we're just days away. I'll see you there. Thanks, Austin.
Right on.
There he goes. Austin Prock with us here on WFO Radio. Won the All-Star call-out, $80,000. Won the U.S. Nationals, whatever that is. And then won the regular season championship, $150,000. But none of that really matters. He's got a 20-point lead. It matters. It matters. He's got a 20-point lead, though, heading into the Reading Nationals presented by Nitrofish. And I'm super excited to see the Koretsky family. All right, Justin Ashley going to be joining us seconds from now. So all you fans of Skag and the Top Fuel fans out there and the Justin Ashley fans, we ask you to share the show because Justin is going to be up next. We're going to have Jason Galvin a little bit later. Gaige Herrera is going to talk about his win. But I want to tell you about the folks at Foggit. That's right, Foggit. It's a spray for the inside of your engine. If you're a racer, you've gone through this process of honing your engine block and making it absolutely perfect. But after you race it, you put it away, condensation mixes with the remnants of the combustion process, creates sulfuric acid, and at the microscopic level, it damages all that stuff. Foggit is a fogging oil, a spray that protects the inside of your engine. It also works on countless other things as a rust inhibitor. So go to summit-racing-equipment.com, summit-racing.com, and order yourself a can of Foggit. And at the end of the day, as I did after Orlando Speed World this past weekend with Project Pontiac, I fogged it down and got it ready to go for the next time, which at the end of the show, I'll tell you exactly when the next time I plan to be towing somewhere with Project Pontiac. All right, Justin Ashley coming up next. We'll hear from Justin after this.
Redline oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
And you can choose the WFO Radio League. Dive in there. Just use the code WFO Radio and get in on Drag Race Bracket Bonanza for the 6-race playoff. It's going to be wild. You can win great prizes. It is free. Kids can play Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. All right, let's bring him on. He is the Top Fuel winner and an impressive starting line average, the likes of which we may have never seen. Justin Ashley, welcome to WFO Radio. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Joe.
Yes. So the reaction times, what the heck, man? That is ridiculous. I think it was 36, 35, 34, 27, something along those lines. I said in our description for the show, that is one of the best reaction time averages in the history of Top Fuel. I did no calculations on that. I just kind of feel like it's true. What did you eat on Monday morning to make that happen?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what happened. It may not be what I ate, but instead, if anybody's ever been to the U.S. Nationals before, you know they park a lot of us on the oval. Yeah. So this is how the day started. I was feeling pretty good. I got in the car Monday morning, listened to my normal playlist that I listen to on my way to the racetrack, got to the racetrack, stepped out of the race car, and somehow I guess somebody was walking their dog over there, and there was a nice, fresh poop right there. And I stepped right in it. And that's how I started my day. And I thought to myself, well, this is going to go one of two ways. This is going to be a really tough day, or this could be a good omen, and it could be a really good day. So I'd like to thank whoever brought their dog over there, because I think it turned out to be a good omen. And I'm thinking maybe that's the reason things went so well on Monday.
And so what are you going to do to continue the trend? Racers are very superstitious people.
I will not continue this trend. This was a one and done. That's
okay.
it. I'm sorry to inform you. This is a one and done.
You're not going to like set it up each week. That's unfortunate, Justin. I did not know about that.
Yes. That's why I like to break news right on WFO.
That's good
an
stuff.
Interesting start to the morning, but obviously it was a good thing. But we'll leave that in Indy.
Jolt of adrenaline at the start of the morning, right? Like a shock of adrenaline. Like, oh, this is bad, very bad. It got your system awake. Like this is not good. You woke up early.
It woke me up very early. It got me ready to go, and it turned out to be a good thing because the adrenaline got going, and it turned out to be a really long, fun day. Far and away, I think the most fun I've ever had during a single day at a racetrack, and for obvious reasons. So just an awesome day all the way around.
Well, starting out with that first round matchup, I found that to be entertaining. We just had Austin Prock on the show, and he was talking about entertainment value. Like, your car was kicking the gaskets out of it for the last 400 feet down the racetrack. It was like on fire and flames are coming out. And it was, you got to go up against Antron. We haven't even talked about the matchups, right? The matchups. You had Schumacher versus Coletta. You got Justin Ashley versus Antron Brown. You had Clay Milliken versus Sean Langdon. The name versus name drag race bracket bonanza bracket just looked so killer. You got to go up against AB, and yours is, I don't want to say it's coming apart, but it's definitely putting on a show all the way down the racetrack, and you got the stripe.
Yeah, there were a lot of really crazy first round matchups, and I think that's what the U.S. Nationals should be about, right? And, when we were going up there, we qualified 12th, but I do think it was a little bit misleading in the sense that there were 5 qualifying sessions. We got bonus points 3 out of the 5 qualifying sessions, and we had a really good, consistent race car. We just didn't run, in the top half Friday night during that super quick session. So we felt pretty confident about where we were at as a group and as a team and with our race car. But obviously going up against the world champ, Antron Brown, we knew that we were going to have to be in our game, and we got after it a little bit. And because of that, you saw that it pushed a head gasket out. And a lot of times when it does that early, it may not make it the entire way under power to the finish line. And fortunately for us, it did that time, and we ran just quick enough to win a close race. But, when you're racing a guy like Antron Brown, the opportunities that he's going to give you are so incredibly limited, and the margin for error is so small because he and that team are so good. So we were super happy to get past that round one and kind of take that information and apply it through the rest of the day. But as you know, those were the best conditions probably we saw all weekend. And then it started to get hotter and hotter throughout the day. But escaping round one for us was obviously super important.
As indicated by a certain 343 mile per hour fastest in history run by Brittany Force. It was amazing out there. Tough for the fans to get in and get ready and be there by 10 a.m. But the benefit was that we saw some historic stuff out there. Really interesting. Get a lot of congratulations. Eddie says congratulations on your win. Can't wait to see you at ZMAX. Blake saying congratulations. Keith saying another great person and family. Justin and his dad are amazing. Yeah, your dad went bonkers on the starting. Let's skip ahead, but this completes the circuit. The family dream, both winning Indy, all that stuff. Little Justin jumping on his dad when his dad won in 2007. Now it's some sort of new family milestone. It's different in the Ashley household suddenly.
It is. And I mean, the idea of winning the U.S. Nationals, right, is once you win the U.S. Nationals, you're a U.S. Nationals champion forever. And to be there at the top end when my father did in Funny Car in 2007 and experience that, and then circle back 18 years later and then experience it except in reverse, right, with my dad at the starting line watching and me driving, was really special. It's hard enough to win these races when they're just normal races, and every race has its own story, its own significance. But when it's the U.S. Nationals, you really want to take advantage of the opportunity, especially as you start to knock out those round wins. You're getting further and further, and you can kind of feel it. And then to be able to cross the finish line, see the win light, and then go back and watch my father's celebration, watch the team celebration on the starting line. I think that's my favorite part of the whole thing, is going back and watching the starting line video of the team, of my father, Randy, Maria, the dealers and distributors, everybody from Skag, just seeing the smiles on their faces, you realize, man, this is really what makes it all worth it.
Yeah, well, you absolutely delivered. Let's get you to the final round because I want to talk about Tony Stewart a little bit. I want to talk. He won the regular season championship. They just announced Leah is coming back. That is big news of the day. Big press conference. Leah's returning in 2026, so you'll be racing against someone different in that car. But who knows what he will do. But second round, you got to go up against Doug Coletta. Yikes. You're 35 against, you're 36 against Antron, whole shot victory. You run against Doug, and both of you have to like finesse it down. You run 408, 293 to get it down. Suddenly it's back in the driver's hand fully to like regain traction and pedal the car to get it down. You're going up against Doug Coletta, one of the best at that.
Yeah, he probably is the best at that. One of the best the sport has ever seen in terms of pure feel and natural driving ability. That wasn't like hey, I out-pedaled Doug. It had nothing to do with that. That was just, we had the momentum and we started to come loose much further down the racetrack than he did. Fortunately for us, when it started to come loose, I was able to just kind of feather it back on the throttle once and able to get it across the finish line that way. It just didn't make it through the transition, during that particular run. But ironically enough, we were able to learn from that and take that data and apply it to the next round. But we actually ended up with lane choice, which was kind of funky, which is something obviously when you come loose down there and get it across the finish line and win, you don't necessarily expect. But happy to get that win. Doug Coletta is outstanding, right? He's as good as it gets. I'm not saying anything that anybody doesn't know. They've probably been the car to beat the last 2 or 3 races. So moving on to the semifinals at this point, you start to feel like, okay, you know what? Maybe this can actually happen. We're 2 rounds away from doing something historic.
Yeah, and it's heating up during this period. Like, Brittany goes out second round, and you had all these, unconventional underdogs like Trip Tatum. He ends up as your semifinal competition. Kyle Wurtzel gets through first round, part-time team. Jasmine Salinas, she had this great attitude going on during the course of the day. And as things are shaping up, it's like, all right, Tony Stewart and Jasmine, one side of the ladder, you and Trip Tatum on the other side of the ladder. And Trip, like the last time, this guy's won the Gator Nationals, he's got a bunch of all-stars over there helping him out in what is Capco level equipment that just only gets raced a couple times a year. So take me through the mindset as you're trying to go to the final round of the U.S. Nationals.
Well, I'm a firm believer in the most difficult people to race are the ones that race with nothing to lose. And when you're a Trip and you're out there every single time, and I mean this is a compliment, of course, every single time he comes out there, they have a chance to win the race, period. He does a really good job driving. It was nice to see him back after the unfortunate incident in Gainesville. And like you said, they have a relationship with Capco. So that's a really, really good race car. But this is where you really have to tip your cap to the team that we have and Mike Green and Tommy DeLago and Dustin Davis, because the work that these guys put in as the conditions continue to change throughout the day, to me, is much more impressive than what we do as drivers behind the wheel. So the ability of the guys to put the car together the same way every time in a short period of time, but then the ability of the crew chiefs that of Mike and Tommy to be able to find a way to navigate the race car down that racetrack as it's getting hotter and hotter, and to be able to run a 380 and then get lane choice for the finals, to me, was really impressive. And it speaks volumes of the job that they do. I mean, they were really, really every weekend, but this weekend they were really locked in to this race car, and it showed.
Setting up the final, Tony Stewart, the regular season champion, the NASCAR Hall of Famer, the Brickyard 400 winner. We could go on and on. This guy wants it badly. And when he talks about great drivers in NHRA, he references you, he references Langdon, he references the guys that really get up on the starting line. And just the word epic gets thrown out there a lot. I do it a lot. I use the word epic, but this final round, like, not that Tony is an outsider coming into drag racing. He's a drag racer, but here he is, a chance to make his own personal history. And you are trying to make your own personal history. As we said, it changes your first name. You become U.S. Nationals winner. This is the top line on the career resume. There's no doubt it was a vicious fight. Tell me about preparing for that round. You and your guys, knowing you're going up against Smoke. You were his first ever opponent in drag racing top fuel at the Gator Nationals 2 years ago. And now you got a race for the U.S. Nationals.
It's crazy. I think I was still trying to process what was happening in the moment. And I think I'm still trying to process the result, to be honest with you, today. So, I mean, just going into the final, it's so easy to get caught up in the moment, right? And to try and change what you're doing, or to try and run harder, or have more adrenaline, or get up for this round because we're racing Tony Stewart and his team. And he's one of the best drivers of all time across many disciplines of motorsports. But I think the focus really for our team was repetition. We got there for a reason. Now is not the time to change any part of our routine. So we were focused on trying to stay disciplined, not necessarily worrying about what Tony was going to run, or how well that team was going to do, because we knew they were going to run well. But it was up to us to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be, and leave it all out on the racetrack. And that's exactly what we did. We stuck to our normal routine. The guys were working on the race car, did a great job servicing it and turning around in a quick period of time. Randy and Maria and the dealers and distributors in hospitality are doing their normal thing, engaging, having a good time, enjoying themselves, furthering and developing relationships. So when you look around you and you realize that everybody's staying in their normal daily routine, you don't get caught up in the moment, generally good things are going to happen. And for us, that time it did. I mean, what a race. When you look back, we were out ahead early. He was out ahead at the middle of the track. He put a hole out and we passed him at the end. So you use the word epic, and you know, you might want to say it's hyperbole, but in this instance, I really think it is fitting. It was an epic final round.
It really was. I watched a replay. They posted a clip today of the final, Brian on the call, and I watched it 10 times just to see if I could see who won the race. And I really couldn't. You know, they kind of cut to the parachute shot right as you guys are crossing the stripe. And I'm thinking to myself, that's a historic final round between hopefully the next decade of drag racers, Justin Ashley and Tony Stewart. You're 27. He did real well, got up on the wheel. He's 53. That's a great light. You're 27. That's just sick. I asked you a couple of times ago, can you do this on a regular basis? And you said, never say never. You're doing it more often. Those high 20s, you're getting there. How are you getting there?
Well, I think for me, you know, it might be the boring answer, but I focus on the process, right? I don't necessarily look at the outcome. I'm a firm believer in that. When you focus on the process, the outcome will take care of itself as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So for me, that process starts during the week in terms of preparation, right? There's mental and there's physical preparation that goes into racing at a high level. So I'm focused on that. I'm focused on my routine to make sure that I go there and prepare accordingly for the race. And I'm ready to go, especially when it matters most. But, you know, let's be honest, right? If this car is not running well, if Mike, Tommy, and the team do not give me a car that's a winning race car, all this stuff is irrelevant, and we're not talking about it anyway. So it may have been a whole shot in the final round because it was whatever, I forgot what, an 81 to an 83, but if we ran an 84, we would have lost. So it all comes together in a lot of ways. Reaction time is a team statistic. It just is. So really, you know, I was happy to get the job done on there on the starting line, but more important than anything else, it wasn't about that. I was extremely happy, obviously, to see the win light and go back to our team and celebrate together as a family and as a team with some people that have won Indy before and other people on our team who have not won Indy before. And to experience that all together in a really special winner circle was amazing, like a once in a lifetime experience. You can't beat it.
Well, a one-off, exactly. Like, no, regardless of what happens. And, you know, we've got a guy down there in the ready room, Gaige Herrera. He's coming up next. He's experienced championships. He's 003 in the final. He was perfect last year. So the bikes are a little different, but being on that razor's edge is truly amazing. I do want to ask you about the playoff, though. You went down to the final round of the final race. Watching you this season, it's been a different kind of season. I wonder, is this team prepared, and it seems like you are, but to throw the long ball, if you will? One thing, you've been good in the heat and in the difficult conditions, but when the time comes, it's Pomona, you got to dial up a 65 or a 66 in the cool weather in the final round to win the championship. Does this team have that this year?
Yes, we do. We just have to get there for sure. And it's a fair question, right? It's a great question. We've been kind of right at the cusp of winning that world championship the last few years. But when you look at our regular season, you know, maybe it's kind of flown under the radar a little bit. But when you look at it as a whole, we've been to 7 final rounds in the first 14 races. And that's something that we're proud of. But moving forward, all that goes away, right? It's a 6-race sprint to the finish line to see who can get there first. Obviously, Pomona has huge implications, being that it's 1.5 points. But to answer your question more specifically, yes, we can definitely run in the 360s. We're still working on a few things to make sure that we get there. But with the team that we have, there's no doubt that we can do it. But make no mistake about it, there's a bunch of other teams out there who can do the same thing. And that's what makes Top Fuel, and that's what makes NHRA drag racing so competitive today. No matter what happens, it's going to come down to the very end, and we love that, and we're looking forward to it.
I'm very excited heading to Reading. All right, before we let you go, it's all about the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. And sometimes they come rapidly, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. So I'm going to show you this photograph. and what is your take?
I knew you were going to. What are you going to show it to me again? I saw it. I lived it, Joe.
That's it. You lived it. You invite a Steelers fan to take in the Jets season opener with you. As I understand it, you'll be on Life's a Drag tomorrow with Elin, and you're winning the whole game. And right in the end, Aaron Rodgers comes up, and this guy, was he beaten? What happened? What did the Jet fans do to this guy in this situation?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't want to be like the eternal optimist, Mr. Positive, but I'm just telling you, from years of being a Jets fan, the way that they lost that game was such a gut punch, because it's the way that they've lost games year after year, right? Like undisciplined, penalty, collapse at the end. But Joe, the product on the field was different. For 3.5 quarters, I've never, at least in 10 years, seen a Jets team like that. They won in the trenches. They beat people up. I was excited, but then I wasn't excited. They're going to win a lot of games this year, trust me. But that was tough. He's a good sport, but there's so many pictures before that of me smiling and happy and high-fiving, and then it ends with that.
That's the end. I saw this on the Facebook. You'll be on his show tomorrow. You'll talk about Indy. You'll talk about this. Everyone needs to watch Life's a Drag at noon. Justin, congrats. And hey, at least you and the Dolphins have the same record. The Jets and the Dolphins, we have the same record at the start of the season.
That's right. We certainly do. I appreciate you having me on, Joe. Thank you. And thanks again to Elin for that picture. That was really, that was special. And thank you for the reminder.
Oh, you're going to get it over and over again. That's going into the permanent file. All right, Justin, congratulations. See you this weekend.
All right, bye.
There he goes, Justin Ashley, with us here on WFO Radio, U.S. Nationals winner, Justin Ashley. All right, when we return, Gaige Herrera. We're going to dial up Gaige and see what he's got to say after winning his second consecutive U.S. Nationals. That coming up after
Looking
this.
to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
And we are back. Let's dial up our Pro Stock Motorcycle winner, consecutive years, regular season champion, Mr. Gaige Herrera for Revzilla, Vance & Hines, and Motul. What's up, Gaige? How are you?
I'm doing good, Joe. How are you?
Good. I saw you listening to Justin down there. Week 1 of the NFL. Do you have a team? Are you NFL? Are you into it?
No, I really don't watch too many sports unless they got engines.
See, I love that we've got those people too. We just need more of them. That's all. We just need more of them. So 003 in the final round, Gaige. What happened, man? Slipping.
I know. It was going perfect last year, and then 003 this year. I mean, I went up there with the mindset it was either going to be green or it was going to be red. So luckily it was on the green side, and it worked in my favor. I needed all I could get for the most part.
Well, the reason I position it that way is that it's amazing to me, frankly, that to come up in these massive moments, and that trip zip against Angie last year could have been a red light, but it wasn't. This 003 could have been a red light, but it wasn't. And it leads to the 2 biggest wins of your career, U.S. Nationals victor, back-to-back years. This year was a little different, though, because the calls were kind of coming from inside the house with Braden, who I understand is on the entry list for Reading, and hopefully we'll have something for the rest of the countdown. Not that it was easy last year, but it's going to be different this year with Richard and Matt and Angie and Gianna and John Hall and now Braden, who is a very talented young man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the countdown. Braden's very talented. Rich is very talented. I mean, the whole class is full of talent. It just comes down to who's got the best package at the given moment. It was awesome to have race Braden in the final there. I'm glad to see he found some funding to he made it in the countdown, which was amazing. Only having 4 or 5 races under his belt, just goes to show how good he's doing, and it's gonna be good for him and a good opportunity and a new face for him to be out there, which is what NHRA always needs, no matter what class it is. Brings a new audience and everything else in there, but. Yeah, going into the countdown, it's going to be, I feel like this year's going to be more of a dogfight than it has been the last 2 years, but that's what I live and breathe. That's what drives me to push harder. I mean, it's no different than me going up in the final round at Indy against Braden. I kind of knew with us getting 5 qualifiers there, and I ran the right lane quite a bit, I kind of knew my position on the starting line as far as how far to roll in or not, or to shallow stage, and I went up there and I took a little bite at the tree, and it helped me. It got me the 003, and I actually spun the tire a little bit, or else if I didn't have that light, Braden would have definitely beat me at the finish line. But what an epic final between us two, and the countdown's gonna be fun. Not only under our tent, but racing Angie, Matt, John Hall, Chase, Bostic, all of them. It's gonna be very interesting.
Well, I think, watching you, that you like the fight. Like, you don't want to dominate. Like, domination is great, but it's like, I don't have to, I'm putting my words onto the persona I see. Like, if you're not challenged, it's boring. It looks like it's boring for you if you're not challenged. And now it's like, all right, these guys are stepping up. I get to try to like use my talent. Am I right?
No, yeah, you're nail on the head. I'd rather, there be a bigger challenge than, having, I mean, like in 23, my bike, I had such an advantage. I felt just me and Andrew had the tune-up so dialed in that I had sometimes a 10th on the field, to where I didn't have to go up there and push myself mentally to cut a good light or near perfect light. And, I mean, obviously still nail your shift points, make a good run, but I didn't have to go up there with the mindset that, you got to push yourself to either be red, be really good on the green side. So it drives me for sure to go up there and give it my all and do my best and let the best racer and tuner, cross the finish line first.
Well, and the whole shot victory, like looking at the ladder right now, it's been a couple of days thinking back. Round 1, you had to go up against Chris Bostic, and he's 16 on the tree, and you're obviously laying up a little bit. That's got to be tough. That's got to be tough for you we've got this guy covered. Don't make any silly mistakes, maybe take you out of your normal game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we went up there. I was up on the starting line with Andrew, and he's like, "Oh, I think we can go 103." And then after we got back, he's like, I didn't mean a 103 on the reaction time. He meant, 103 60 foot. But yeah, I try to play it. I wouldn't say play it safe. I probably try to play it smart. I know what kind of bike I got. And, after qualifying, I looked at, how Bostic was running throughout the weekend and so on and so forth. I mean, so I just went up there and made sure I was green. First round's always the most nerve wracking for me, especially, depending on who I'm racing. I mean, it doesn't matter who I'm racing, but the last thing you want to do is go and throw away a first round, especially when you're qualifying on the pole. You got the bike out there to win, and the last thing you want to do is go out there and go red or make a simple mistake. So I definitely was I was up there on the starting line making a sandwich or taking a nap or something, because I planned to be like 50, 60 green, not a 100. I think it was a 103 light. So I was playing a little too safe, but luckily still crossed the finish line first there.
Well, and it's got to be hard, right? Like, I'll be 50. It doesn't work like that. Park says he loves the work van interviews with Gaige. That's right. Everyone's saying congratulations. Monica saying congratulations, back-to-back Indy. Congratulations, Gaige. Everyone's saying these 3 are the next generation. Great ones all. Congratulations. Yeah, it is interesting. Austin Prock, Justin Ashley, Gaige. These are new faces in the winner's circle. I know you and Austin have gone back to back, but still fresh faces for the world of drag racing. We'll get to that in a second. Second round, rematch of the final round last year. You get around Angie, left first, got down there quicker. Then you got to beat Matt. Matt goes red. He actually, was equal to you in terms of performance, was 1 thou quicker on track, just, trying hard, right? Come up on the wrong side sometimes to set up that final round matchup against Braden, which you needed the 003. That's the thing that escaped me in the moment. Like, he's 79.9, you're 83.4. You had to have that. If you don't have that 003, I'm talking to Braden Davis.
Yep. No, exactly. I mean, after the semis, he beat Richard because Richard spun the tire or hazed the tire a little bit, which, Braden outran him, even though Richard had the better reaction time. And then I spun in the semis too, and luckily Matt went red there. I mean, if he was, green, he would have had me. I only had like a 30-something light there. But so going into the final, under our tent, we always play everything fair. It's best man, best bike win. So Andrew asked Braden what lane he wanted, and Braden wanted to stick with the left lane, which we all knew the left lane was better. So, and, me going up there with that in my mind, I knew I had to go up there and push myself and make a near perfect run as possible. And, I mean, when I threw the lever, I was hoping the green light was going to turn on, but I knew, it was damn, you just know, you make so many passes, when you react and everything, it's either going to be green or it's going to be red just off of how it reacts and, how you feel on the track. So when I seen it was green, I knew it was game on, and I took a little peek over, I think a little past 1,000 foot, and I seen I had a wheel on him, and I was actually pulling away from him a little bit. I think I had like 1 mile an hour on him, but it was an awesome race, between the two Van Hines bikes. Yeah, I mean, he has no reason to have his head down. I mean, he's doing a phenomenal job, and I would say he's probably going to be my biggest competition throughout the countdown. Same with Richard. I mean, it's crazy to have 3 competitive, identical bikes under the same tent with, 3 great riders. It's going to be very interesting. And as far as, us 3 under the same tent, I don't know how much trash talking is going to go on, but I know me and Richard do sometimes, but I don't know if Braden's at that level yet with us. But it's going to be a lot of fun more than anything, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Trash talk level. Right. Trash talk level.
For sure. A little bit. Nothing too crazy.
He's a kid. Like, who am I to say it? Like, how old are you? What are you, 27?
Me, I'm 31, and I think he's 19.
Right. Percentage wise, that's a lot of life. And he's, I'm sure happy to be here, but he'll learn real quick to fire back.
Oh, for sure.
That'll be great. Well, Gaige, congratulations. I think it is amazing that you've been able to do it. Let's focus on countdown for a minute. Head to Reading. This is it. You got to go again. Regular season champion. That's a big deal, big accolade. They take all your points. And now you are just a couple ahead, and you've got to start from scratch. You've gone into Reading and lost the first race and still been able to win the title. But what are your goals when you look at this? 4 rounds per race times 6, but you got to win the first one to win them all. So how's your attitude as you get ready for this, like going to war again, right? Like going to the playoffs, starting fresh. Give me your mental.
Yeah. I mean, mentally, I'm going into Reading. I mean, I went home with the Mission Too Fast, Too Tasting championship and then the regular season championship. So, it's been a incredible season so far, but going into Reading, that's the one race I have not won yet. I've left there the last two seasons second in points. So I'm going there with a different mindset that's my main goal. I want to defeat Reading because I feel like it's defeated me so far. So, I've qualified good there, but I think I've lost second round the last 2 seasons there. So my main goal is to at least try to, make it past second round. But, just going into the countdown, going from, I don't remember exactly how much point lead I had after Indy, but, now I only have a 30 point lead, I believe, over my teammate Richard. It brings it in a lot closer, but it lights a fire under me to do better. So I'm definitely just going in there mainly to have fun more than anything. But, it's time to get down to business and, take these last 6 races very serious because they're going to go quick. And not only that, there's not going to be much room for error or to make up points if something does happen.
Well, exactly. You got 23 over Richard. I just brought up the point standings right now. So you got 23 over Richard. You got 32 over Matt, 48 over John Hall, 61 over Angie, 73 over Chase. Gianna's 83 back. Braden's 100 back. So it's amazing. This guy is 9th in the points. He raced, I believe it's 3 races.
Yeah.
But he got in.
Yeah, 3 or 4. I think Indy was his 4th.
That's wild.
Yeah,
Points and a half. Points and a half. Amazing. Dragster Jeff says race mean out there in Reading. Ricky saying congratulations. I'm noticing just from like the comments in the comment section, like there's a lot of Gaige fans out there. Yeah, there's a lot of people that you're winning them over, Gaige.
I try,
Well, I think people have learned your personality is really what it is. That you're kind of quiet, but you're not boring. It's different.
Sometimes. It depends, right?
Yeah, sometimes you are boring. No, I'm kidding, obviously. Gaige, thank you very much for joining us on the show. Congratulations. Like, you're making your own line of history in the world of NHRA Pro Stock motorcycle racing, and it's amazing to watch. Talking to Andrew, talking to Eddie, talking to those guys on the starting line, they're feeling it too. But you got to do it again now, and that's what the playoffs are all about. And a lot of people, they would wish to go back to an era where what you did in May makes you a champion, but that's not where we are now. What makes you a champion is these final 6 races. I'm real excited to see what you do with it. So thank you for being on the show. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much, Joe. Glad to always be on WFO, and we'll see you this week.
We'll see you this week. There he goes, Gaige Herrera, Vance and Hines, Motul, Rev Zivla. Way to go, Gaige. And amazing performance. You go study the numbers. Justin Ashley, the whole shot victories. Gaige Herrera, the whole shot victories. That, they had to have them or they don't win. They stepped up in the moment. You had to have it or you don't win. It wasn't like, well, it could have gone another way. Very interesting event. And here to help us recap the whole thing, as he gets ready to head to Reading, we'll be calling the action out there. The Reading NHRA Nationals presented by Nitro Fish. Mr. Jason Galvin wearing his NHRA hat. What's up, Jason Galvin?
What's up, Joe? How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited. The afterglow of the U.S. Nationals continues, but we're getting ready. I'm board a flight, and not long from now, 24 hours or so from right now, and we're going to do it all again.
One tonight. There you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
We're doing the red eye thing. It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Yes. Well, like this is it. Race 1, right? Like all of that we experienced. Yeah. But I know we don't have you for very long because you're doing various things. So I just kind of want to lob it up there for you to give me your thoughts and analysis. We heard from Austin, Justin, Gaige. Erica Enders was on Life's a Drag last week, guys. So you can go hear Erica. She did amazing as well. But let's talk Pro Stock a little bit since we didn't have a guest talk Pro Stock. I said it a couple weeks ago in Brainerd. I was a little worried as it was a Saturday, and I said, Erica Enders is back. And anybody that listens to me probably thought this guy's crazy. And she goes on and wins the U.S. Nationals. Talk a little bit about Erica and that epic final.
Yeah, listen, led to a great final, ended up being a great race. And I mean, that car was back in Brainerd. You could see it. It's still not there, right? Like, let's be honest. I think even Erica would tell you if Dallas Glynn's car doesn't square the tire, Dallas Glynn's in the final round of the U.S. National, right? So they're not there with Dallas and Gray. But they're there with everybody else. And here's an important thing. You and I kind of talked about this in Brainerd. They're close enough. And you can kind of see that in Sonoma too, right? They're close enough when Aaron and Greg Stanfield went to the final in Sonoma. They're close enough to make the KB drivers think about it. I can't be 50 on the tree this round because I don't have 400s in the bank. I need to push a little bit. I don't know. I didn't talk to Dallas. I don't know what happened. Did the two-step malfunction or did it push his foot off the clutch? Did it push his foot off the clutch because, and was he doing that because he knew I can't be 57 against Erica here, or she might put me on the trailer? And I think that's a real conversation, right? So we've seen that a few times out of the KB cars, this year where Dallas, maybe cheating the clutch a little bit, and who knows? And we've also seen situations where both Dallas and Greg have just missed it, and they've squared the tire. Those cars are aggressive, and when you live on the edge, it's going to happen sometimes, right? So kudos to Elite, because I think it's very hard in season to make the type of adjustments and strides that they've made, especially when you think about all they've gone through, right? Mark Ingersoll gone, comes back. Mark Ingersoll, gone, comes back. Everything that's going on with Jake Harrison, and they've had some other issues personnel wise over there with people that have just had family life things pop up. So to make those types of mid-season gains is really, really difficult in our sport, and they've made it interesting. Like pro stock is very interesting now. It's not just pencil in Dallas and Greg in the final round.
Or it might be, but we just don't know. Like
right.
that could be the way it turns out.
Yeah.
It might be. They do have the two fastest cars, but I want to shout out to Hartford too. Like Erica beats him to win her 50th in the final. They are like nemesis. It's gutting for Hartford. Hartford drove his best race of the year.
Oh
in
gosh.
The final,
in 2 years.
006, 31, 17. He leaves on Erica. Shift light didn't work. Drove into the rev limiter. I heard it on the starting line, and that's that. She wins
twice. Yeah.
Erica has experienced the agony of defeat against Alex Laughlin in the final round. She has an unbelievable light. She's driving to victory. Thing deadheads. You watch the car go flying by. Indy is cruel. Indy can sometimes be cruel, but we reset, and now you got a bunch of cars all of a sudden within just a few points. And like the racing gods, I say it about them all the time. They decide.
And Hartford drove I thought it was his best race since that wacky weekend in Reading 2 years ago where we're going here, right? Where, they're leaving the property Saturday night on Rob's tow truck to go, try to find electrical gremlins in a parking lot somewhere, come back Sunday, win the race. Looks like he's on a championship quest. And then his driving got away from him down the stretch. And then last year they were just all out of sorts, right? Matt was off and Eddie was off and whatever. They've had a really good car this year, and it has taken some time, kind of like Erica, I think, for Matt to find some of that confidence back, right? Erica's driving was not good at the start of the year. She's talked about it openly. Everybody's talked about it, right? Like her reaction times were just not very good because the car wasn't very good. When you don't have confidence, it's easy to push too hard. Pushing too hard leads to mistakes. Then you lose your confidence. And I mean, like we've all been there professionally, right? And these are professional athletes. So listen, if Matt Hartford drives like Matt Hartford drove at Indy, he's going to win at least a race in the countdown, maybe more than one. And he is going to be a thorn in the side of Greg and Dallas and whomever else is competing for the world title. No question.
Yeah. Qualifying is going to be very important.
He's had an unbelievable car this year, Joe. Unbelievable car. It just hasn't come together on Sunday.
It hasn't come together on Sunday. And so the reason I bring that up, right? Like, because the 50th win, thank goodness Erica won the 50th, so we don't have to carry that sign around anymore. But that thing has got a lot of miles on it, man. I don't know exactly.
It's been across the country like 17 times. Yeah.
but just like Greg Anderson when he was up against 100, like that's and the great ones, they break through, and sometimes you need a break, and that's what happened. But now we go again. And I encourage everyone to watch Life's a Drag from last week for the Erica Enders interview, because she says, like, there's more. We can factor into this championship. But looking at the standings, Dallas is a regular season champion over Greg, 19 back, Hartford 30 back, Corey Reed, Aaron Stanfield, Eric Latino, Jed Coughlin Jr. Erica is 8th, 94 points back. That's the challenge for her. Greg Stanfield, Cody Coughlin. But Derek Kramer, Troy, and Kenny Delco all qualify. They're pretty far back. It would take some sort of miracle. Not, let's say it, probably not going to happen. But Dallas, Greg, Hartford, you got to say Erica based on her resume.
Sure.
She's done it 6 times.
Sure. Listen, if I'll throw another one. I don't know the situation in the league. It seems like they've figured out one-ish car right now, right? And it was Stanfield's for a while. And remember, we started to see Greg Stanfield's car show some life in Norwalk. And then, Seattle Sonoma wins Sonoma. And then they switched cars, and that car went to Erica, right? Erica showed some life in Brainerd. She wins Indy. If they have found a way to translate some of that to some other cars, how good has Jake Coughlin Jr. been as a driver this year?
Oh, my God.
He's like 00 every round. His reaction time average is under 20 on the year. He's 7th in points at 81 points back. Points and a half at the end of the year means he's less than 3 rounds back of first place, right? So, there's some stuff to think about if to your point, Elite has found, really found something here, and they can find a way to spread it out over a few other cars.
We shall see. We shall see. Want to give you an opportunity to talk, Austin Prock, Justin Ashley, Gaige Herrera, whatever is on your mind. Then we'll talk a little just overarching event conversation, the million people watching, all of those things, etc. But when you think about Austin winning his second, Gaige winning his second, Justin Ashley, the driving job that Justin did, it's just crazy. 27 in the final round. He needed every bit of it to beat Tony Stewart. Leah Pruitt back for 2026. Just had the press conference. No news about Tony, guys. Just so you know, today was about Leah. No news about Tony. I did ask a question. They did say it's no longer hard no on racing each other, which I thought is important. And that's why I asked it. Like, it used to be hard no. We'll never race each other. Is it still hard no? And Leah said, no, it's not hard no anymore, which got me very excited to see that. But, as you reflect on the U.S. Nationals, what are your headlines?
Yeah, I think for me, one of my favorite U.S. Nationals that I've been to, and that's maybe the 7th or 8th one I've been to. So the racing Monday was incredible from, 343 out of the gate with Brittany in round 1 to Justin Ashley. I thought truly Justin Ashley, that was the greatest driving job I've ever seen in Top Fuel in a day, at least on the starting line, right? I mean, we can go back and I'm sure somebody's going to find videos of somebody dog tracking a Top Fuel car 5 times in the 70s with a front motor on it, right? But I mean, his worst reaction time was a 36.
Yeah, he needed them. He had to have them.
Like people won the U.S. Nationals in sportsman categories with average reaction times that were worse than Justin Ashley's in a Top Fuel car. Like that is ridiculous to think about. I thought it was the single greatest, like, uplift your team driving day. I mean, Mike Green told me in the winner's circle, and I don't know if this has gone out publicly or I wouldn't have a chance to catch Justin's. Mike Green in the winner's circle at the U.S. Nationals said Justin walked into the pits after round 1 and looked at Mike and Tommy and said, just make the car go down the track. I will handle the rest. And he delivered in the grandest of ways. To me, that is just incredible. I mean, that's somebody who woke up Monday morning at the U.S. Nationals and said, I'm going to win this race today, and I don't care what we have to do it. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, but it's also a little disappointing because we just had Justin on, and you know what he told us? He didn't tell us that. He said that he stepped in dog poop to start the day. That was what he told us.
Okay.
Self-deprecation, Justin. You could have told us about the big speech, Justin, and instead you tell us about the dog poop moment. But that's okay.
Just incredible stuff, right?
You don't tell those stories about yourself. That's
you
the thing
do not.
about Justin.
You do not. But your crew chief does, and I thought it was cool that Mike shared that with me. So, listen, Austin Prock continues to be this unstoppable force in a funny car, like we've rarely seen. I mean, it's John Force in the 90s-esque at this point, except for you're not supposed to be able to do that in a nitro car these days. Like, there's too much volatility and then too much parity. And, in Top Fuel at Reading, there's like 9 cars, like play NHRA odds, right? But it just goes, people hate gambling. Some people hate gambling, but it speaks to like parity, right? There's 8 or 9 cars that are plus 900 or better, and nobody's better than plus 600. In other words, what the odds makers in Las Vegas are telling you is stick your hand in a hat and pull out one of these 9. You got a pretty good chance of winning Top Fuel at Reading.
Yeah.
Funny car is like, we're going to put Austin Prock over here, and then we're going to put Beckman somewhere in between, and we're going to put everybody else over here. And
Right.
that's not something you should be able to do in 2025, but that team is now going on a year and a half of doing it. And Pro Stock Motorcycle, listen, Gaige was 003 in the final round. So with, hat tip to all the great riders currently in the sport, and Matt Smith is amongst the greatest competitors in the history of the NHRA, certainly. Gaige Herrera, when Gaige Herrera needs to be on, is as talented of a human as ever ridden a motorcycle in the NHRA. And he rolled up there in the final round and dropped a 003 light in the final of the U.S. Nationals. After being 001 on Friday or on Sunday, and Andrew going, we got to, put a little pad on that. That's probably cutting a little bit too close. Rolls up, final round, 003, needed a lot of it. Braden Davis was on a mission. Just incredible stuff. I mean, so we saw some all-time performances on Monday. One of the all-time great race days in the history of the U.S. Nationals. And as you said, 1 million plus people watched it on Fox, which was incredible.
Yeah. And the new tower, greatness. There's so many great things. I know there's some people that are, and like I could not address negativity at all, but that are trying to make it a negative, but it was not a negative, right?
No
but
comment.
like even Jim is out here. Jim says that Greg and Aaron laid down to Erica. I don't think that's the case. I don't. Maybe I don't think that's the case. Greg and Aaron Stanfield, both back to back, just gonna like decide they don't want to win something. Like it doesn't just
because they both had premonitions that Dallas Glenn was gonna be light on the clutch, and then Matt Hartford's shift life was gonna stop working. Like, I mean, there's nothing actually to get. Like, I heard a lot of people say that, and I watched the runs again, and here's my issue with that statement. What did they gain by that? We weren't talking about the semis and the finals. We're talking about round 1 and 2. Dallas Glenn had the best car. He made a mistake on the starting line. Matt Hartford had a better car, a much better car. They had an electrical gremlin. Like, there's no way if you knew that ahead of time, Jim, or anybody else for that matter, you should have woke up Monday at the U.S. Nationals. You should have called every friend you had them download DraftKings, FanDuel, and Bet365, and put every penny of savings you ever had in your life on Erica Enders plus 1,400. And then you wouldn't be watching WFO right now because you would have turned $25,000 into $1 million, and you could just be retired. It'd be like winning the Powerball. Like, if you knew those things were going to happen.
Well, and Aaron Stanfield, who I know Aaron pretty well since he was a kid, right? Like, so this guy gets out of round 1 by, I think it was 1 thou against Derek Kramer, who has a 004, best light of the year, round 1 of the U.S. Nationals, comes up a thou. Aaron is alongside him with a 14. You know what I mean? Right. If he's 16, he loses. So he does that, has that. To what? Get to round 2 to just say, I won it last year. You got it. Good lucky.
And again,
you're going to get it.
What did Erica really gain out of that? You know, I mean, she gained 2 spots in points, but only because she won the race, right? I mean, if she loses in the semis, she picks up 1 spot. Aaron Stanfield was locked into 5th. Yes. Greg Stanfield was not locked into where he's at. In fact, Erica went around Greg, but Greg Stanfield had a chance to catch Jake, had a chance to catch Latino, depending on the day that he had, right? I mean, there's a lot of things there. First off, could have been caught by Cody Coughlin at that point. Cody goes out and loses right behind him, but there were a lot of things at play. I mean, frankly, Derek Kramer was right there in that mix too. There was like a hodgepodge of cars. So there's nothing to gain if you're elite. To doing that. Like, elite, listen, I understand Erica Enders is the house car and she's Erica Enders and 6-time champion and all of that stuff, right? Richard Freeman runs a business to win world championships. And if your best opportunity to win a world championship, if you're Richard Freeman, is David Quadra, like, you're not laying over for Erica, right? Like, that's not how you run a business. And also, he's got 9, 10, 11 rental drivers. Like, you can't run a business when you're intentionally laying over at the U.S. Nationals. You want to have a conversation about laying over for your teammate at Las Vegas or Pomona when you can't win the world title and they can, and I will totally entertain that. But not at Indy on Monday. Like, all those people spend too much money, and so do their sponsors, to be like imagine calling David Janik and being like, hey, David, I know that you fund both Aaron Stanfield's, yes, Jason Johnson funds that car too, and Greg Stanfield's car, right? Really appreciate all your money. Just so you know, we're going to intentionally have them both lose at the biggest drag race in the world. No hard feelings. Have a nice day. See you in Reading. Come on.
Well, and so Jim says even Tony and Brian in the booth said it was teamwork. So here's what I will say, and that I know people want it to be one or the other, but this is why once you ever do something like that, people will always assume that you're up to something. And that's all. And it might have been years ago and the rules were different and it was before Play NHRA and all of those things. But now that has ever happened, people are always going to entertain the possibility that it's happening again. And so it's, you can't go back. It's it is what it is. But like Jim and others, he's not the only one. There's that thread of negativity. All right, so let's.
That stuff goes back to the 80s, though. Right? I mean, like, we could talk about Larry Minor's team and go back to the 80s and
all the questionable
things.
It's It's just part of a one-on-one sport. It's a one-on-one sport, and that is going to be part of the deal. All right, so we're headed to Reading. The points have been reset, but let's do some final thoughts on winners in the Lucas Oil Series and anything else. Like I love the new tower. They did a great job. NHRA deserves an attaboy. I have been talking about the racer appreciation dinner that for whatever reason, I actually think I understand it. The answer is it was right before the U.S. Nationals, and the U.S. Nationals is really a mind eraser. The thing that happens the day before the U.S. Nationals just gets erased. Nobody knows what happened because now you're on the treadmill and you got class eliminations, and now it's round one super gas and super comp, and next thing you know, and then Monday afternoon happens, and then you go home and you're wiped out. But you guys had a massive event, racer appreciation, and you're there stuffing goodie bags like by yourself, you and Matt and a couple of others. What I heard was that it went very well.
Did go very well, yeah. We gave away 800 screwdriver sets from Cornwell. Gave away 80,000 plus in prizes, and that was before we gave away the big toolbox on Monday. So hat tip to Cornwell and all the I mean, there were 40 plus sponsors that got involved in that event in a big way. So we gave away helmets and Hans devices and hybrids and an entire carburetor from Holly and the Simpson folks and a race pack and Speedmaster. D-Cell gave us an entire solar system for a rig that they're going to fly somewhere and install it. That's $10,000 plus. Speedmaster gave away an entire 350 small block Chevy, like upper end. It was crazy. The stuff we had. Carlisle Tools, right? We had like 3 mini toolboxes from them and sets of socket drive sets. And it was overwhelming, frankly, but it was incredible. It was a great event. I appreciate that you said kind things about it. And listen, I had plenty of racers come up and say nice things to me privately. So,
it wasn't about that. My social media antics. It's not about, I know 100%, I believe it in my heart that everybody that was there was genuinely appreciative and thankful. That's not what I was saying. It's just like, I think it's newsworthy because you would think from the news that stuff like that didn't happen. And it's like, no, man, it happened. It's newsworthy. It's like, even for Cornwell, just to incentivize the future,
Sure.
Like, hey, man, giving away stuff makes people happy. Just so you know, maybe you should give away more stuff. Like, maybe you should give stuff to the announcers. They like stuff too, free stuff, just as incentive. And I found it curious that it wasn't bantered. That didn't make the radar for whatever reason. Even the news sites, like, that's a big story. Like, those things usually get news, but I guess they did not.
There's a great video and article on NHRA.com. People can go. It's in the Sportsman Roundup email that went out this morning to all NHRA members.
I love that. All right, Pro Mod, Mike Stavrinos takes down Stevie Fast, goes on to win the race. I think if you were standing there before round one and you said, who's going to win Pro Mod, 90%, well, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza actually had the bracket. And I think it was like overwhelmingly Stevie Fast race to win. And Mike Stavrinos jumps up there and wins it. And he has had a really good car. I'd call him a favorite to win the championship.
He is absolutely the favorite right now. I hate singling out, one person, and JR Gray has been right there, for most of the year. But I think Mike Stavrinos is definitely the favorite right now. No question. And drove a great race. Drove a flawless race a year after coming up, that close at the same race. So
I love when he told me I wanted to race Stevie. I was hoping I got to race Stevie. That showed me no fear. And that's what you want to see. You want to see in a fighter who's going to go in there and he wants it. And Mike Stavrinos wanted it. We'll be interested to see. Shane Westerfield and Sean Cowie both get the job done. Real happy for Shane. Real happy for Sean.
Yeah. World champions who have kind of the final crown on the belt, right? For Cowie especially, for Westerfield's a great comeback story for that team. Won a world title 8 years ago, lost his car owner 2 years ago. Didn't think that team would keep going. They've persevered. That's a hard trip for that team to make, to come to Indy. For them to win was a big deal. I mean, Sean Cowie, it was 10 or 11 years ago. Sean Cowie, frankly, shouldn't have survived a motorcycle crash, right? And then was told he never race a car again, have a hard time walking. And, here he is. He's built an incredibly successful business. He won a world championship last year, pretty dominant, is in a really good spot this year as well, and then went out in Indy and in a very tough alcohol dragster field was clearly the class of the category all weekend. So huge weekend for Sean Cowie, and you could kind of see. I think when he got out of the car, you could see that relief-ish, that emotion. Like, all right, in the last 9 months, I've won a world title in the U.S. Nationals. Like all of this,
it's worth it.
All of this has been worth it. The years, the pain, the grind, the money, the travel was all worth these last 9 months for Sean Cowie.
The Sportsman video is up. I just shared it today, the Division 6 share of it on Facebook. But anyway, top end, when these guys are getting out, you get to see it, what Indy means and how big a deal it is. Let's see. Robert Bailey and Comp, Tyler Kahele and Superstock. He was super happy. Jimmy DeFrank, Stock Eliminator, super happy. Landon Exner, Super Comp says, I don't even know what I'm doing. I just let go of the button and drive the stripe. My dad does it all. It was great. Super Comp. Mike McMasters, he won the $17,000 toolbox. I was super excited to be a game show host for a little while. My true life's aspiration. I got to do it. Darian Bosch and Top Sportsman, Jim Prevost and Top Dragster, and Legends Nitro Funny Car, Nathan Sitko. Hemi Challenge, Jason Line. It's listed on the website results, but that was a kind of a fun anomaly.
Yeah, you think somebody should update that, huh? I'm glad you just pointed it out to me, Joe.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. And so what would you write there? Sox and Martin Hemi Challenge, no winner. Double DQ.
See you in 26.
Best Hemi Challenge we've ever had, though. I'll make that argument.
Incredible.
I know people will get upset about this or that. If both cars were not up to spec and after the final, then it is what it is. But people
can I just point out real quick.
Yes.
Hemi Challenge. Okay. The McCandless family, Sox and Martin, basically fund that event, right? They, in their release, said that they were consulted on this. And yet the world still picked NHRA apart for, this, that. You're trying to ruin the Hemi Challenge. You're trying to run them off, this and that. Like, the people who ran the event were consulted on what to do after the violations were found. Like, this was not like NHRA Tech found something and said, down on you, Hemi Challenge people. That's not how it happened.
Well, I talked to a lot of people.
We just spend 5 minutes to like actually read and comprehend what is put out there.
And that's the thing. And you and I both, we both work for the NHRA. I think everybody knows that. Galvin is an employee. I'm a contractor. But we see the inside. And so when you see the inside, you have a different perspective. And so when people just puke out their guts and they're wrong. So Charlie Westcott's on there. He's a guy who probably might be mad about the deal. And he posted a nice post. Not everybody is able to see Charlie's post, but it gave me some insight. I talked to Jason Line. I found out from Jason Line. He warped my mind because I didn't understand what he was telling me. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're DQ'd? What? Like, I looked like a moron because I wasn't privy to any of this. And he's like, nope. We deserved to be DQ'd, but I feel bad for the other boy. Boy, who you mean? Jimmy Daniels? Boy, this guy's a grown man. But that's what Jason is saying. Yeah, they DQ'd him. And they DQ'd him for something that was very legit too. Non-performance, but you can't have it both ways. You want more tech, you want everybody teched in, but you can't do that. You can't just make it up as you go along. So double DQ. That's it. Everybody got tow money. What an interesting year. Don't bring your junk back next year and have it be out of spec. That's it. I think people next year will probably take the care to make sure that whatever it is that was wrong. But you'll never get someone to say that because they, remember, they just post on Facebook and then they go mow their lawn. They forget that they even posted it. It's not like they're in a court holding up swearing an oath that what they say is how they truly feel. It's how they feel in a moment. They got to hit the restroom and all of a sudden they puke it out and then they're gone. And then, maybe a day later they forget that they even posted it. So whatever, it's not the end of the world. Final thought, Jason, Galvin, as we get ready to start a new journey.
Yeah, I'm excited. Friday night, Reading, we're going to do the Sonoma Friday deal, Joe. So you'll be very excited to hear that.
Oh, I'm very excited to hear that. That's the new information for me. Great news.
Yeah. So anybody who tuned in live, social media, the free Friday night Sonoma and got to watch at the time the fastest run of all time, who knows, right? I mean, Reading is the place of
back on
maybe
the call.
You can get it back. Yeah, Joe was very upset about that. First thing I heard from Joe Castello after round 1 of Top Fuel at the U.S. Nationals wasn't, Galvin, man, what an incredible round. You see all the upsets and this and that. Galvin, great call on 343. You nailed it. Joe walks in, he goes, Galvin, I'm no longer on the call for the fastest run of all time, and I'm mad about it. And walked out. And I was like, it's not my fault.
You've ruined it.
I didn't tell Grubnick to do that.
I was part of history for 2 weeks. And
you
now
might get
I'm
to be part of it again. It was a month, in fairness. It was a month. You might get to be part of it again. Yeah. Listen, the ET record fell at Reading, right? And we're going to run Friday night, I think 7 o'clock. Sun should be going down. It's supposed to be like a 78-degree day. 68 at that time, Reading. I'm just telling you, the way those cars are running, like, I think there's a chance to see some magic. So, so yeah, that'll be out to the world Friday night, social media, loans, the whole deal. I don't know where we're going to put everybody else at this point, but the whole, magic of Fox and NHRA.TV together, which if you didn't watch Friday night in Sonoma, I would go to the internet and watch it and just put it on in the background while you're working or cleaning the house or whatever, because it was some of the best content this company's ever produced. It really was.
It was really
great
good. We had a great time. Yeah. We had a great time.
Yeah.
And as long as we're having fun, hopefully others will be.
There's a press conference scheduled on Friday, and I think it's going to be very interesting, Joe. And I'll just leave it at that.
It's going to be very interesting.
There will be major news that will send shockwaves through the world of professional drag racing on Friday, coming out of Maple Grove. Let's put it that way.
See, I don't know about this. Like this, that's why we have you on. I
think you're on the emails that say, "Hey, there's a," it's even from the team that. But I'm not even going to go that far. I'll let other people put the team out there in the universe. But yes,
very exciting. All right, Galvin. So when do you get in? Thursday morning?
Yeah, I'm on a red eye tonight because I'm going to take a little bit of personal time tomorrow, and I'm flying into Baltimore. I'm gonna go see our buddies Parks and Wooden, and we're gonna go to an Orioles game tomorrow night.
Nice.
We backed into Paul Skeens pitching for the Pirates, so those of you baseball fans out there can be jealous. Get to see the Cy Young winner, and it's gonna be fun. And then I'll get up Thursday morning at the crack of dawn, and I will drive up to Reading. And Parks is. I don't know if I'm more pumped to see Skeens and go to Reading, but it's like definitely 50-50. Come on, it's Paul Skeens.
Yeah, no, the talent, high level talent.
Yeah. It's like watching Bob Glidden in the early 80s, right? Like you could see the best in the world dominate.
I will see you there on Thursday morning as well. We'll be doing social days, chasing down cars for attention in the pits. Be on the lookout for best appearing car. Never rest stories, please.
Will do. See you there.
All right, Jason.
Safe travels.
There he goes. Jason Galvin with us here on WFO Radio. Called the action out there, did a fine job at the Big Go, a tremendous event, an event that I was super excited about the entire deal from top to bottom, and thinking about like just class eliminations and how great that was. And there were moments where, you hear stories and every one of them is worthy of its own segment on the Fox show. Speaking of which, they did a great job. I love the desk. My joke is that desk equals ratings. Like we've unlocked the secret. The desk, you have a table with people sitting at the table and they're shooting off to different segments from the test. Like you've got Brian and Tony in the booth, but then you had Amanda and Bruno at this desk in the pit area. And then you had the reporters, Freiburgers and other going around. Real interesting, very mainstream sports. I think that is a key to being successful, and the live and the 1 million and all of that. It should be celebratory for everyone involved in NHRA drag racing, because it's very important to be successful on live television. Streaming is great. NHRA TV is great. That's where I am, and I love it. You're linear, you're live all day long. People are watching all day long, but we have to have that television audience. You got to have it. And we're getting it. Now, the NFL has started this week, right? So I'm expecting a big drop because everyone is watching the NFL for first couple of weeks while hope springs eternal. So we will see. Now, before we get to your comments, I want your comments. I want to go there. Let's hear what you have to say. Playoffs, final thoughts on Indy, the tower, the event, all of that stuff. I do want to tell you about a couple of people that without them, we would not be able to do WFO radio. One of which is HusseyPerformance.net. David Allen and the team. David, I would imagine, is going to be up there at Reading. He was walking the pits with some like prototype samples of gaskets, delivering to Nitro teams. Really cool to see him on the job. 412-716-4872. It's not just copper anymore. They have it's a composite material. Like, David, what do I call this stuff? It's a composite material that is excellent. It's a little thicker at sealing valve covers and oil pan gaskets for all different styles of machines. So reach out, husseyperformance.net. Tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. Marvin Rodak, 817-924-6821. This is coffee from around the world. And I know you're worried about tariffs, right? Tariffs. Don't worry about the tariffs. Call Marvin. He's getting the best coffee from around the world. In fact, like, if you hate the idea that people would dare challenge the United States of America, you got to get some coffee from Marvin. That's the way I'm positioning it. 817-924-6821. Call Marvin, RodXCoffeeandGrills.com. He'll be at the Stampede of Speed. And if you're planning on going to Dallas for the Stampede of Speed, coming up in just a couple of weeks, plan on stopping by Rodax and getting yourself 5 pounds, 10 pounds of coffee roasted fresh per your order. RodXCoffeeandGrills.com. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. They've got licensing courses available in Gainesville, coming up the 14th and 15th of October, the 4th and 5th of November, the 2nd and 3rd, and 29th and 30th of December. So if you want to advance your license, you can do that. Or you can hit them up for the Dragster Adventure. It makes a great gift come holiday time. You want to get out in front of the holidays and Black Friday, just get the Dragster Adventure. Go to frankhawley.com to find out more information. I want to shout out to our friends at Redline Synthetic Oil for jumping on board with WFO Radio in 2025. Appreciate those guys. I got water wetter in my cars and run their stuff. I appreciate them greatly. CWT Industries, Randy Neal's Balance Machines. Shouting out to Randy Neal. Thank you so much to Randy for supporting WFO Radio. And Bernie Speed Shop. Had a conversation with Josh Hart. Josh Hart, just can't say enough about Josh Hart and his ability to make things happen. Special things happening. Bernie Speed Shop, he started out knocking on doors, asking to detail cars. Now he's got 100,000 square feet. And what I've decided to do with my dad's 2005 GTO is allow the folks at Bernie's to sell it on consignment. And we're going through that process right now. And he has got, they're doing a lot of business. So if you've got a classic car, an exotic car, and you want it sold and you want to get the most for it, go to Bernie's Speed Shop, BURNYZZ.com, Bernie's Speed Shop. Shout out to our Patreons. We're adding new Patreons all the time. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. This is you volunteering to pay a monthly to get added extra content and be part of the VIP squad behind the scenes, part of the team behind the scenes. You get it. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. If you sign up for a year, I'll send you a shirt eventually. I've been so bad about sending stuff out, but it's kind of part of the charm of the deal. You'll get it eventually. Castello promises he will definitely send you the stickers and all the things you get just with all this Project Pontiac stuff. FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. This past weekend, I went to Speed World Orlando. I tested the new FTI converter. Flawless. Everything worked tremendously. And we basically got the stall speed we had in February in September. 92 degrees. So the goal was to loosen the converter. We loosened the converter. The car ran well. And now I'm planning on how I'm going to go to Rockingham in October. You might not see a show at this time next week because I might be towing to South Carolina to bring the vehicle to pre-stage it so that after the Stampede of Speed, I don't have to drive 12 hours the next day to go to Rockingham. But there's a double divisional in Rockingham, and I'm planning to be there and take this new FTI converter, many rounds. I'm not confident enough to say the winner's circle, not yet. Shout out to Jesse Converters, Matt Latino, Eric Latino. Thank you for supporting WFO Radio. OE Replacements, the DPF XFit brand, but they've got some big news coming. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. The Brian Fleck episode of Hidden Horsepower, tremendous. But we've got Jorge Jimenez going to be the next. Baja 1000 engines, Volkswagen engines, Baja 1000. You're interested in that, I know. Check them out. And the WFO gear, it's on sale. Get yourself a Project Pontiac shirt. Get yourself some WFO swag, Morris Motorsports, and otherwise. Big news at the press conference. I'm excited that Leah is going to be back. Leah is one of our big personalities. And people love Leah. She's got a connection with her fans. And we got to have Leah back. There's going to be a bit of a, like there's comings and goings always in the world of drag racing. We'll add a car, we'll lose a car, that kind of deal. Having Leah back, it is going to be great. But what I really want to see is this guy. I want to see this guy in a second car. And I know that they've said from jump that they're not going to do that. They're not going to race against each other. But today, I asked them very specifically if that's still a thing. Like, we never want to race each other. And Leah said it's not still a thing. And so that gives me hope that as much as Tony tested a pro stock car, I think the reason we got big ratings is Tony Stewart. Going rounds, going to the final, everybody in Indiana, every NASCAR fan, Tony Stewart's going rounds at the big go. Let's watch. If you're a sprint car guy, if you had any connection to Tony Stewart at any time, you wanted to see what happened to him in the final round. The day that he's racing Leah in a final, oh my gosh, I think that's a compelling story. That's what the race fans want to see. Want to remind you guys about Life's a Drag tomorrow. This guy is going to attack Justin Ashley on the air about his Steelers defeating the Jets. And you could see Mike and Justin down there, and Elon is happy. The Life's a Drag show is evolving nicely. They're a work in progress, guys. But thank you to the WFO universe for watching and sharing. And it's just more content. Also want to say shout out to the folks at Fuel Factory and Summit for helping support Project Pontiac and what we are doing out there. It has been amazing to be a part of the driving community. I love doing a show and I love talking on a microphone. Those are great things. But to go out to Orlando Speed World and Ozzy and his team, they have such a beautiful track. We did get rained on and it was unfortunate. But, I bought back in, and when the rain came, I just left. And the buyback was $30. Yeah, I got beat first round. I had a problem. Ozzy, thank you for keeping that track alive. Thank you for putting in the improvements every single time I go there. The 3-hour tow, as much as it seemed daunting when I first left to go test for 3 hours up, 3 hours back, I got back. I was rested. I made it. It was fine. I love having Speed World 3 hours away. Like, thank God for Speed World, because where would I have gone? We got a Immokalee in the middle of the state. They were not running. Bradenton was not running because they're doing a lot of improvements over there. So I needed to test to be able to go to Rockingham, assuming I go. There was no way I was going to go if I didn't get a test day under my belt with Project Pontiac. And trusty Orlando, having a double bracket race there, had a quick 32. I was able to stage the car, launch the car, get some reps in, make a big mistake, humiliate myself publicly. All good stuff. And so I recommend to everybody, Speed World, they're trying hard over there. They've got covered grandstands. They've covered their grandstands and their front gate. All right, let's see what everyone's got to say. I've stalled long enough. You've probably put up some good comments. Let's see what they are. All right. Thanks for the honest discussion of the Hemi Challenge. It was the funniest thing I've ever been a part of. So I was real proud of the Hemi Challenge. I got to hang out with Buddy Martin and Herb McCandless. I called round one. I thought it was great. I still think, even with the unusual outcome, the best Hemi Challenge in years and years. Thanks to Mike and Herb Jr. and Herb and everybody that supports that. The free NHRA.TV, thanks to Sox and Martin. Guys, go buy a hat, man. Go give those guys a little return on their investment. Sox and Martin, get you a hat, because it was great to be going out all day. I shared the link 10 times, and the cars were great. It was great racing. In the end, the two cars that won and runnered up were out of spec, and they found it. I think it just adds to the intrigue. Now, if you're a Jason Line fan, if you love Fish Stick, the car, you saw it get to the stripe first. Don't be negative. Just roll with it. It's just something that happened. Years from now, it'll make this race unique. People will always remember this race because of this. But the way I found out, but the other boy, what, Jimmy Daniels? The guy's like 35 years old. Can you say morons, complainers? The sport is infested with morons and complainers, guys. I don't know if we're ever going to get rid of them. We got a lot of people that really choose to be part of the negative. They really choose to be part of the negative, but it's a choice. We don't have to choose that. And some days I choose it. I was on the wall for the fastest run of all time. There you go. Yeah, I was part of the call, and now I'm not part of the call. I know it's selfish, but I was also happy to see 343.59. It's not impossible that car could go 344. It's not. That should be another one, another cool Friday night. The Friday night thing that we do with the whole broadcast, Brian and Tony and myself, and, I don't know if Jordan, I would imagine Jordan's going to be back. Congratulations, Sean Reed. Congratulations, buddy. I like Sean Reed so much, and I like Rob Wendland even more. And they are great guys, and they went out there and they won a race. Good job. Good job. It's really cool in the Northeast in the evening. Yeah, we could see 345, Britt. But we also want to see Britt win a race. That's the next thing. Okay, Walt's going to clarify. For clarification, McCandless Sox was consulted about what to do with the purse after NHRA deemed the cars illegal. Yes, but do we know for certain that they weren't discussed? I think that was all discussed at the same time, but I don't really know. And I don't think it really matters. Honestly, Jason Line told me he was okay with the result. He did not say anything along the lines of, this is wrong and I should have won. I didn't get any of that from anybody. Whatever, guys. No hard no could not be good for the marriage. I don't know, man. I think you got to do what's good for the sport before you do what's good for the marriage. The sport comes first. We want to see this, Randy. We want to see it, Randy. Sorry. We're all making sacrifices for this sport. I have to go days and days without seeing my cats. They can race each other. Joe, I have something for you, but I know better. I will mail it to you. Yes, we can't leave it in Hartford's trailer. That's the deal, Ant Dog. I'm sorry. Last time, Mr. Ant Dog here gave me this wonderful little die cast, Smokey and the Bandit. It was cute, and I put it in Hartford's trailer, and then it got, it disappeared. Hey, Joe, bring your Project Pontiac up to Dragway 42, September 24th through 27th for a big IHRA race. Yeah, I can. You realize how far that is? And also I'm working that weekend. That is the daunting task. Like me being slightly occasionally racing. The idea that I'm going to get back from Reading and hop in my vehicle and make a 12-hour tow on Tuesday morning next week to position my car and truck and trailer closer to Rockingham so that when I get back from the Stampede of Speed, I can just fly to the Rockingham area and race as opposed to then towing 13 hours. One thing you can know for certain, racers, you can know this, you can take it to the bank. If I'm talking to 100 people, I'm sure 50 of you will believe me and 30 of you won't believe me and 20 don't care. I understand how hard it is. I respect you for what you're doing. It's almost insane what you are doing, racers, drag racers, divisional racers, bracket racers, all of you. Working all week to earn the money to spend on this hobby, spending a ton of money just to get there, just to arrive, let alone the paying of the equipment to arrive and the parts and pieces to do it. No, people who don't do it don't understand it. They don't understand it. It's impossible for them to understand when I'm explaining to my friends that it took me 2 tanks of gas to get up and back to Orlando at $121 a tank. That's $240. Just getting there and home. Man, most people don't spend $240 on their hobby, but that's what it costs just to get there. Then the entry fee and all the associated stuff. Plus it was hot. It was so hot. I'm in the fire suit. I got my helmet on. I got my neck collar on. I got my gloves on. Have any of you guys done this? Have you experienced this? I'm asking legitimately and honestly with respect to you. to sit in a car in 92 degrees, dressed in black, in fire retardant gear, lightweight stuff. And I immediately thought of Antron Brown. And I thought of Justin Ashley. I thought about these guys in Top Fuel, Sean Langdon. They're in the car strapped in, 7-point harnesses, 20-layer suits, balaclava, gloves, all this stuff, boots. They're doing it professionally. They're on TV. If they screw up, they're going to be humiliated and embarrassed. Like, oh man, people saw me lose. When I screwed up, nobody saw it. Nobody knows what happened. I just share it for my own fun. Baking in there, baking, sweat pouring down like Stryker trying to land the plane in Airplane. It's an old reference, but those of you who know, you know. It's coming down, and I'm got a towel and I'm wiping, and I got to go up there and I got to perform. I got to compete. That's what I'm going to do. This is what I do for fun. Spend money, a lot of money, and a lot of struggle. And I was up at 4 a.m. to do this. This is the hobby. This is the fun. Oh, racers, I get it. Please don't ever suggest that people don't understand what you do. I understand. And I'm telling everybody that'll listen, everybody. I'm using this moment of my show, the end of the show, to tell them, like every one of you, trust me, I know. I know what it is, how hard it is, how much it takes. And you know, like maybe I'm not able, maybe I'm not up for it. Maybe I don't have what it takes, and I'm figuring that out right now. And you know, man, putting a boat in the water, like putting a boat in the water, it's a lot less work and takes ultimately maybe less money. But I get it, Lucas Oil Series racers. But to be constantly negative and constantly complain about people not understanding, trust me, we understand. I'm going to do everything I can in my personal power to make sure everybody that knows about drag racing knows that the Lucas Oil Series racers are crazy people to be doing this because they love it so much. And that it is fun. It's so much fun. And turning on a win light is a great feeling. But we're in a kind of a weird spot right now where a lot of people are programmed to be negative. And my social media drop about the screwdrivers proved that to me. Couldn't tell me why, but they were programmed to be negative because you know, I think it's a societal issue. We need more crossover from TV Fox to NHRA TV. We missed some good stuff. We should all get it all. Yeah, but you can't all get it all, Ricky, because they have a time allotment and schedules and commercials, and NHRA TV you don't. I am currently working with everybody behind the scenes to give more, in the pits and in the lanes and stuff. But if you're watching on NHRA.tv, you should have a second screen open to the NHRA social accounts. I need a secretary. Yeah. We just won the 660 Outlaw class in Milan this weekend with our FTI converter. Look at that. Way to go, Chris. Now, the folks at FTI have treated me fantastically in terms of, and I'm not getting special treatment. We wanted to loosen the converter, and they did it, and they got it looser. That's what we need. I know he's not talking about me. Another great show. Support WFO and Joe and Patreon. Thanks, Keith. Keith is a Patreon, but you guys don't have to do that. I don't want anybody who doesn't want to do it. Leah is one of our most fierce competitors. Excited to see her back in Top Fuel. She really is. Saturday, Maple Grove meetup. Yes, Saturday, Maple Grove meetup. We're going to do it. We have the most WFO people at Maple Grove for whatever reason. It's all downhill from here, Elon. Yeah, it's true. Humiliation is the best teacher. No doubt, Henry. No doubt. I learned a lot this weekend. I was publicly humiliated. Great show. Thank you very much. Ryan was actually the one who turned it all day. I don't know what he's talking about. NHRA made the correct decision. I'm definitely not being negative about it. Oh, good way to go, Walt. Yeah. Well, even, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And I'm not saying anybody's wrong. I'm just saying what Jason told me. And seeing some of the other posts, it seems pretty, you can't go back and get the semifinalists. And how do we know that they were legal? Just when you ask for more tech, this is what happens. When my wife beat me racing, the after race was really good for me. Funny. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Ram, racing against morons. Sox and Martin, way too many rules. That's what makes it great, Randy. That's what makes it great, that they have to adhere to extremely strict rules. Not anyone can just do this. It's a brain trust of people. And when you accomplish the goal, you've done something special. When you eliminate the rules, so someone that I'm close with was talking about class eliminations. And there are a lot of people that were mad that they were getting torn down after class eliminations. If you don't want to get torn down, don't run class. It's just that simple. You don't get to say that you won class without also having to endure maybe having to produce a cylinder head. That's what makes it what it is. Now, does everybody get everything right all the time? They clearly do not, but that should be obvious. I've spent every Friday evening since Indy working on a race car and doing it so again in about 2 hours. Exactly, Jim. I was highly motivated as well. I need a bucket for my sweat. Joe is one of us. One of us. Walt, not quite. Just getting the tiny taste. Tiny taste. And it's hard. It's hard. I tell my friends, they don't care. They don't care. My friends they're not drag racers, guys. Like, I have a whole group of people from South Florida, from radio. They don't care about drag racing. Honestly, they think I'm kind of stupid to be doing all of this, to build a race car, to try to enter a race that's 12 hours away. They don't understand what I'm doing. They think I'm a dummy for doing this, right? Why don't you just go to the beach, Joe? Why don't you just come to the pool and hang out? Why are you doing this? So trust me, 362 record can be broken. I agree. Black 20 layer too. Well, exactly. And they got maybe an umbrella over them. Watch NHRA TV online when I can't travel to each event. Joe and Jason do a great job. Keep it up, guys. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. We're trying, man. We're trying. We're putting in the effort. Not everybody's going to like everything. Not everybody's going to like everybody. The rule of 100. You can't please 100 people no matter what you do. You can't. Rob Wenlin not only tuned Sean to the win, officially wedding now Saturday too. Well, good job, Rob. I didn't know that. Thought he was already married. Drag racers are not sissies. They're not. Whatever they are, they're not that. Money was split to all the other racers in the Hemi Challenge from first to second. Yeah, as I understand it, they split the money amongst everybody. Everyone basically got tow money. The whole purse. Bring back the audio cast. We don't need the audio cast. What do we need the audio cast? You got NHRA TV. You got a video cast too. Unless you just want to hear the audio. And I do agree it would be nice to be able to minimize my screen and just hear the audio feed so I didn't use the battery on my phone. I'm with you, Scott. There's got to be a way to handle that. Joe, you know you can't fix stupid. I learned it. I learned it a long time ago, but I'm trying. So what, you guys want to know how I humiliated myself on the track? You need to listen to Ignition to hear that. We had a spirited discussion on Ignition. Spirited. About various topics. But look, I think there's transparency. Always. So I got on the button. The other guy's about to stage. And I backed out a little bit, or my stage bulb went out. So now I got to let go of the button. I got to put it back in the stage beam. It flickered out. I got to reset the box. I got to get back on the button. The light came on just as I got back on the button. I let go of the button, stepped on the throttle, bring it up on the rev limiter, and the car took off in second gear. When I got off the button the first time, it ran its cycle since I'm shifting on time. And the air shifter, which I use, don't challenge me, that's what you need to win, put the car in second gear. And I just drove off the starting line like a dummy. And after thinking about it, like, what did I do? What did I do here? I need to learn how to stage a little better, a little more firmly, because this is the second time flickering the bulb has caused me a problem. But I also didn't know, in addition to resetting the box, because it's got a trans brake lockout mechanism for safety, I got to slam it back into first gear. The only thing that makes me feel a little bit better is I don't think I had time to do that. And in the what's more embarrassing, taking off on the second yellow in second gear or sitting there for a second on green, I think I would take what I did. But it's a good debate. WFO.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to watchpttv.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.